You know how there were all these rumors about Carson Beck to Miami, but then he declared for the NFL draft? Yeah, so he kind of changed his mind, and Miami is a real possibility. What's going on, Canes fans? It's good to see everyone again. Between surgery, complications with recovery, and catching this mystery virus that apparently everyone has right now, I was forced to take a pretty long break. But let's get into the football talk because I know that's what we're all here for. And it is true that former Georgia quarterback Carson Beck has officially entered the transfer portal. And it's actually official this time. No back and forth. The guy is in the portal. Now, they've already made it known that Miami is in the mix, obviously. I mean, based on what we've heard over the last few weeks, that makes a ton of sense. Beck makes a ton of sense at Miami for many reasons. But they are keeping their options open for other schools as well. I've heard Texas Tech being thrown around, possibly even Ohio State or maybe North Carolina going and playing for a year under Bill Belichick. They've also set a timeline of roughly 1 week for him to make a decision, so it won't take very long to find out where he decides to go. Now, I would like to note, just in case maybe you've been living under a rock or you've not been keeping up with Carson Beck, the guy is coming off of a pretty significant elbow injury. And by significant, I mean this thing required surgery. And Beck is going to miss spring football, but they have said that he would be ready by summertime. Now, what's interesting with all of this, and really what I want to talk about in this video, is the fact that the majority of Canes fans appear to not want Carson Beck. When you go search around online, anytime his name comes up and it's tied to Miami, Canes fans are saying, "Ooh, no way, we don't want this guy. We are not interested in Beck." I saw some people saying, "I have been a huge supporter of Mario Cristobal. I continue to be all about his vision and I've got his back. But if they bring in Carson Beck, I am done." Now, I will say that it looks like Carson Beck took a bit of a step backwards in 2025. He appeared to regress, and not appear, I mean, he did. You can just look at the stats. But Miami does need a quarterback. I mean, I think we all agree on this, right? Because at the moment, it's Emory Williams, Judd Anderson, and Luke Nickel. And, you know, if you like Emory, that's fine. But I personally am not crowning anyone yet. We don't really know a whole lot about Judd Anderson. And there's no way, as much as I like Luke Nickel, and trust me, I love Luke Nickel, there's no way that I'm starting a true freshman with this 2025 schedule. This fan base would absolutely run Nickel out of town, and I don't want that to happen. And I'm not saying that it has to be a one-and-done guy, you know, $1 million+ quarterback like Beck, but Miami does need another quarterback. Is Carson Beck Cam Ward? Nope. Is anyone in the portal right now that's available Cam Ward? Nope. What I personally wanted, if you would like to know, is a quarterback that had 2 or more years of eligibility remaining. Bring him in, have a true open competition, and let those guys battle it out for the starting position. But here's the problem. All of the guys that were good matches for that criteria are pretty much gone. And as I said, if Miami needs a quarterback, you know, there's kind of slim pickings right now. But when you step back and look at this thing and you set emotions to the side here for just a moment, if you're not a Beck fan, which is okay, there's no problem with that, you do have to admit that it seems like Miami has been patiently waiting for something. And when you think of it that way, this makes a lot of sense. It almost makes it seem like this is what they've been waiting for. This is the guy that they have been waiting to push for and probably already been in talks with, which is what many believe has been the case. I'm not going to come on here and make a prediction or anything in this video, but I just feel like that the staff would take Beck if he wanted to come to Miami. I think that he's kind of a bridge quarterback that would hopefully maybe set up nickel starting in 2026. I know that there's also a large portion of the fan base that wants to see this staff actually stick with their guys. They want to see if they can develop. They want, hey, play the quarterback that you recruited. Play one of these guys that you have brought in. But at the same time, it is year 4 for Mario Cristobal, and he's got to win, and he's got to win big. He cannot afford to go backwards, in my opinion, at all. Even 9 wins would probably really upset this fan base. It's got to be double-digit wins again, and really at this point, it has to be an ACC championship game appearance. So does the coaching staff play Emory? Do they believe that he can do that? Do they trust a Judd or a true freshman? Or do they bring in someone with a lot of experience? Again, I'm just trying to step back and look at this thing as a whole from an almost kind of an outside point of view. But I can't ride the fence, so I will at least say this. I think that if Beck is interested, you do take him. He has experience, and even though he might have regressed in 2024, I think that if you surround him with weapons and provide a good offensive line, he's most likely good enough to win at Miami. We actually talked about why Carson Beck makes a lot of sense and why this coaching staff would be interested in him weeks ago. I think it was like 3+ weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, during a college football playoff watch party stream. And that's why a lot of people missed it and don't know that we talked about the Carson Beck situation. I mean, I'll just say, would Carson Beck have been my first choice? No, not really at all. But here we are in the middle of January, and Miami needs to make a move. They need a quarterback. Is he the answer? Is he the right guy? I don't know. Time will tell if he ends up coming to Miami. Now, do I understand why they would take him if he wants to come to Miami? Sure. Yeah, I do. Would I have rather have had a 2+ year guy that could come in and compete? Maybe, but it depends on who it is. Not with the guys that are in the portal right now. No. Could Miami just ride it out and stick with the guys they got? I think it could be an issue. I think it end up might being a bit of a problem. So I don't know, man. Carson Beck just makes a lot of sense. He really does. And I think that even given the injury, and it was a very scary injury, there have been quarterbacks that have rebounded from this, though, so just keep that in mind. I just think that if you do bring him in, I'll close with saying this. If you're going to bring him in, obviously he's going to be given the keys. Let's not even talk about how well they have to make sure they say it's a competition, and if he gets beat out, they're not going to do that. He has 1 year left. You bring in a 1-year guy, this guy is given the keys, and you say, here you are. This is your offense. But I do think that they should say, if we start playing some games here and that elbow is a problem, and this is absolutely not going to work, you are a terrible fit, I think that it has to be known that he doesn't get to play just because. And it makes me kind of sound almost like I'm contradicting what I just said. He's going to be given the keys. He's going to be guaranteed to start. But if there's any sort of thing that involves, like medical wise, like this, like you are very limited by your elbow, because they're not going to be able to see him throw the ball around probably until summertime in this offense. If it is an issue and, hey, we have a problem, then I don't know. They'd have to try to figure something out with that, because he wants to try to boost his draft stock, because why else is he coming back to college? He said, I'm going to go to the NFL, kind of saw the numbers, kind of looked at the quarterbacks probably that are in this, class here in the NFL. It's loaded, Cam Ward, Shadur, some other guys. He said, I'm not going to be picked up, and if I am, it's late. So he's going to want to play. So I don't know. They're going to have to figure that out. That could be a little murky. That could be kind of tough to figure out that part of it. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think that it does make a lot of sense, a whole lot of sense. Let me know your thoughts, and don't be shy. I don't care if you disagree. Like I said, I'm indifferent. Take him, don't take him. I'm not really pushing one way or another, but I wouldn't hate it if he comes to Miami. Remember, though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family, but at the end of the day, I got to say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one.